Hey everyone, welcome back to Riffs Across Generation. I'm your host, Andrew, and I am here as always with my co-host,
Eli.
And today we are joined by somebody we stumbled across a few months ago in the scene. We're joined by Stefano from the Miami-based metal band Dark Ritual. How you doing, Stefano?
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so as I kind of led into that, we knew nothing about Dark Ritual until we saw that you guys were playing Swarm Fest up here. And as always, when we go to a fest or a show, we try to listen to all the bands. And so we checked out the band beforehand, and you blew us away. At that moment, Eli and I started talking about this is one of the bands we want to get on the podcast. But we were waiting to reach out to you until we saw you live, and we'll get into a little why that was. But we wanted to make sure your vocals in the studio matched your vocals live. After we saw you, yeah, it was a done deal. You are a live performer, and we definitely appreciate that.
Thank you, guys. I'm humbled by that. Seriously, coming from you guys, it truly means a lot. So thank you for that, and thank you so much for having me, having the opportunity to, have this conversation with you guys. Finishing up the year very strong for both of us, right? So
Yeah.
it's a really good opportunity to get in a collaboration, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what we're here for, to help out bands, especially, a
Thank
lot
you.
of our number one question is, why don't you have like bigger bands on? And it's like, well, if we try to get a Cannibal Corpse on or something like that, what would we really like, interject there that you haven't already heard? So our mission here is to get really good bands exposure the best way we can. And here we are with you. So walk us a little bit through the history of Dark Ritual, how you guys came about. It seems like you're all from fairly different backgrounds and kind of meshed together.
Definitely. No, not only that, it's different ages also. Our rhythm section, Evie Austin, is 20, and Lucas Moore, our drummer, is 18 years old. So we have a younger, very talented musicians, joining forces here. And, they're in so many great projects as well, in Fathom and Inscribed. So they have such really good chemistry, and they bring that to our music. And I think that really helps us a lot moving forward, right? So it's a good tandem to have. And then Matthew, he's a powerhouse. He's a black metal savant. Believe it or not, he has his projects.
Yeah.
And he has his black metal projects, and they're very good as well. So he brings that element of aggression to the music. So very lucky to have them. Honestly, it's I give all the props to them in helping me get this done. Okay, so it just started a very, very interesting way. I last year on January 18th, I got fired from my job. I did something stupid, and I was in a very low part of my life. And I think it was the moment that I said, I think it's time to finally put those feelings into music. And that's when I wrote the EP. And I wrote it
Nice.
in a week. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
very
it's
interesting.
definitely, yeah, we'll get into the music a little bit, but we can definitely feel the emotionally charged feeling of everything you write. So that definitely
Yeah.
comes through with the band. Are you the, I don't want to say elder because I'm really old, but are you the elder member of the band?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. I am so I'm 34.
Still a young pup.
So I'm 34, and yeah, no, and then Matt is turned 29, turning 30. So we're kind of like all in that realm between 18 up to the early 30s, so it's like a nice plethora of influences all together. I think that really helps a lot.
Yeah, and you touched on like having Evie in the band, who's socially well known. I'm all over social media, playing
Yeah.
different bass. I was just going back and forth with her today about a band called Demented Ted that she did a bass run through, which was one of
Uh-huh.
those great forgotten about bands. And then your guitarist has a black metal project that we heard not too long ago, a couple days ago. We actually heard the project.
Yes.
How did you bring all of that into creating Dark Ritual? Because if you just listen to topical Dark Ritual, it's one of those classic doom power metal type bands. But when you listen to it, you hear a lot of
Yes.
different influences.
100%. So in with Dark Ritual, the way it works, I get the music together. I'm actually the songwriter, so I get the music ready together, and we run it together as a band. And we come up with honestly, I feel like the root of songwriting is so forgotten sometimes in metal, and that was one of the strongest suits that older metal bands had, that they were always proper songwriters, and I feel like that was a lost art. I write those songs very meticulously for a reason. Every single riff goes where it goes for a reason. It repeats where it repeats for a reason, so the songwriting aspect is so important, and I'm trying to accomplish that, with the band together, with everybody's influences, with black metal from Matt, the death metal from Lucas and Evie. I essentially have a classic metal background. So it all comes together, and it's very unique. And I'm very
Yeah.
lucky to have them together. And I'm very lucky to have a scene out there that they've been accepting, and that truly means the world to us, and to me specifically, it's incredible. And I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody that has given us the opportunity to perform and, listen to our music.
Yeah. We're gonna get into your vocals a little here. When
Yeah.
we first heard you guys, or yeah, heard your voice, I guess people came to mind. Messiah McCullen from Candlemass, Robert Lowe from Solitude Eternus, the great War Eldane from Nevermore,
Oof.
John Oliva from Sabotage, and the list goes on and on and on. But what are some of your favorite melodic doom type vocalists, and where and how did you develop your vocals?
Man, that's a very interesting question. When I was a kid, I remember. I was born in Venezuela. I used to live in Venezuela. I came to the United States about almost 20 years ago. So in Venezuela, I always sang, man. I was always kind of like a singer in school, in choir and stuff like that. And my teachers would always say, "Hey, you know how to sing opera already?" And I was a kid, I was a very young kid doing that. And my parents, they always supported me, and pushed me, and I'm very grateful to my parents that have supported me to getting to this point, and especially with my wife now, that she has pushed me to even go further to this point where I see it as a career also, not just as a hobby, right? This is a passion. Heavy metal is more than life. More, it becomes who you are. So I'm very lucky to have a support system that got me to this point, right? I think that's the main thing that I'm grateful for, you know?
Yeah, Eli and I talk about that. Eli's played in guitar forever, and it just becomes kind of, once you're in the music and listening to it at a deeper level, it becomes who you are, it becomes part of you. And I think
Exactly.
those who truly appreciate the music and want to support the music, it's something you can't shake. It's like something that doesn't go away. It's not you'll grow out of it type thing.
Yes.
So yeah, that's great to
Yeah,
hear.
no, no, and Messiah. Going back to the influences, obviously, I'm just saying about like the actual Messiah is definitely up there. Actually, I got into when I was a kid, I would always do like opera, la 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 la, like warming up, all that stuff, and I loved doing that. It was but then I developed a ear for metal. Bruce Dickinson, Ozzy Osbourne. I know it sounds generic, but for me as a 10-year-old,
There,
that
there's a
was
there's a gateway for everyone somewhere, right?
yes, that was my gateway. Yeah, those are my gateway bands. Those are my gateway bands, and to this day, I listen to them. I love them, and I love covering them. I'm in a cover band, and I sing them, so they're a huge part of me. Dio, of course. Geez,
Mm.
Dio, and I resemble with Dio because I'm like short as very short like Dio as well, and I'm Italian and stuff. So it's like, oh, Dio, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a connection with Dio in a way.
You were part of, also with your training. I
Mm.
know we talked about when we were at that show. You were involved with School of Rock a little bit. On
Yes.
did that help you? Were you young, or were you a teacher there, or what part did that School of Rock play in your
Wow.
training?
School of Rock, the main thing that School of Rock is that in School of Rock, I met my best friend. His name is Jared Steingold, very, very talented musician. And I met Jared there. And that's when my musical career really started, when I was about 16, 17, from School of Rock. And I did a little thrash metal band called Abyss. And it was very cool. And we did a 4-song EP we're all 17, 14. We're kids doing it. We're playing at places like Drake's down here in South Florida and the Talon Farm. I don't know if you remember that in Pembroke Pines.
Nope.
But yeah, so we played, and it was just a huge step for us to, to get to this point, meeting him in School of Rock, and that I think that what I see School of Rock most is because I met the key people that got me into getting into music. So him, my guitar player from back in the day, and when it comes to my training, um, Brett, there is a Mr. Sullivan. So he was a guitar player. I don't know if you go him, him, Brev Sullivan from South Florida. He's in cover bands and stuff. So he was a teacher there, and he very impacted me as well. So,
Nice.
so he's a phenomenal guitar player, by the way. Guy is phenomenal. He's like a Van Halen, like God. So type of level. So yeah, that's how I get that connection with School of Rock. Definitely, more like an emotional connection, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that training, whether you're a guitarist or a drummer, I think for Eli's in school, he's been in School Rock for, I don't know, 3 years now. He's playing guitar before that, but you really learn to, associate yourself with others and play to
Yes.
their level, whether they're much better than you or they're much less than you. You kind of fit in on how you're gonna help the band out.
100%. No, no, definitely. It's they really teach you that. They teach you this that what that is musical essential, right? The essence of metal is literally the connection that you have with your fellow bandmates,
Yeah,
right? And because people
absolutely.
feel it too. It's like a connection with the crowd, the bandmates, yourself performing. It's a whole ritual. That's why like I call them rituals because everybody's in it. It's not just us singing and playing bass and playing drums and guitar. It's literally a part of something doing together. So it's very important for us.
Yeah, nice. So I grew up listening to a lot of different genres, and we built this podcast basically on death metal or the harder side of stuff.
Yeah.
So I grew up in black metal, death metal, hardcore music, but something that always stuck with me, and I go back to your influences too, were those great melodic metal bands. Some that Eli already touched on, but some bands like Fate's Warning and Armored Saint, who just had those
Hmm.
majestic, at lack of a better word, vocalists, those over the top performers that you hear their voice and you're like, wow, that's it. So what
Yes.
happened to those type of bands? And more importantly, where did all their fans go?
For example, another band like that, they're a little bit more obscure, but you remember Confessor?
Sure.
Like Confessor, like something like that,
Yeah.
like also those over the top crazy vocals that are so far fetched but they make sense somehow. I love that, over the
Yeah.
top
Yeah.
vocals.
Absolutely. So what do you think happened with those type bands? Where did that go? And where did the people who I don't see them a lot. I don't see shows a lot. So where do the fans of that music go? I know they're, my age, your age, whatever those bands were around, but I don't see them anymore. And maybe that's just because where I'm situated, being in Florida, but I don't see confessor type bands or those type bands out anymore.
I think that at the end of the day, you just want to play music that matters to you. And I'll be honest, I'm a clean singer, but I love heavy metal. I love heavy death metal, black metal. So I'm like, why not? Let's give it a shot. Kind of like
Yeah.
Control Denied, very heavy music and very melodic vocals on top. Let's give it a shot. And even if people are not asking for it, at the end of the day, I feel like as long as the art is, honest, I think people will revolve around it and appreciate it. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I want to inspire. Like my goal as a performer is to inspire every single person out there to not be afraid to do it. Do not, there's a lot of musicians out there that have that fear and they just never do it. They just
Yeah.
never go the next step because of that barrier that you put yourself in between. So I love inspiring people to break that wall and just do it, man. We need those
Yeah. Some
creatives.
some of the heaviest music, and this is heavier in a different way than what's out there now with like beat down music and all like the seven strings tuning down real low. But
Hmm.
some of the heaviest for me that I can remember were some of those parts in Fate's Warning where they just drop off the face of the earth,
Oh
like
yeah.
they're going through rhythm. You have one song that, and it's in some of your other ones, but one in particular gives me goosebumps whenever I hear it. It's the 53-second mark of My Epic Ending in Life, where it's bap, 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 and then it drops off into this slow groove and your vocals kick in. Talk to me about that. And since you wrote the music, or at least like had a very big input in it, where does that come from, and how do you create that feeling?
That song. So th- that's awesome that you like that. I appreciate that you have a connection with it. You know, it really means the world to me, honestly. Before I to come,
It's a great part. It's
thank you.
quintessential old Fates Warning is
Yeah,
that part right there. It's like, oh, you can feel it when it happens.
yeah.
It's like, there it is.
You got to drop that, man. You know, it's important. You got to keep it, honest. I always say that. You know, I learned that from Derek Roddy. You know, he always says to keep your music honest, and I always follow that rule from Derek. You know, and it's and that song, for example, I was always in love with medieval music. So that, the intro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that is actually inspired by a medieval song from France from the 1500s. And I'll send you the link out after so you can listen to it. I think you'll appreciate it. And I just wanted something heavy, melodic, kind of like Iron Maiden, very medieval. Like I wanted, because the name of the song is "Displeasure of Living in Modern Times." So I want to, it's kind of like going back in time to your medieval times in a metal way.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And then when that part that you said the 53 level mark, it's just like it just drops everything in that moment.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. It's a fantastic part. I mean, it goes from just the drums just bap 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 bap, that speedy riff, and then it's just like there's no lead into it. It just happens, and at the same time it happens, your vocals kick in at that high level, and it's like, whoa, that's music.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. No, definitely. And then I had a lot of fun, dude. Like I said, it was a lot of emotions when that music was written. You know, when you put your raw emotions into music, that's when you have something good. You know,
Yeah,
because it's raw, man. You know, you want people to feel the rawness of metal. It's
very
important.
cool.
Yeah. We'll move into a little bit about the scene of Florida. How does Dark Ritual fit inside Florida, which is such a death metal dominated like state?
I think that being how we are, having so many different types of influences, especially coming from Matt and Evie and Lucas, how heavy they are as heavy players. You know, they are darker, death metal players at the end of the day. Like I said, Matt is a black metal artist. So they bring, the heaviness, the darkness that I feel like helps us even play in bills with hard, like heavier bands. Like we just play with Blood Tide and Hacksaw. You know what I mean? So, and, Serpent's Rise, so you would think, oh, how does Dark Ritual fit there? But somehow it works. We try to make it as heavy as possible for it to make it work and have everybody have fun. At the end of the day, we want to get everybody going. We want everybody to forget their problems for half an hour. That's the most important part for us.
That's how music saves lives. I
Yeah, man.
hear so many people. It's like I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for music.
Amen, man. Definitely.
Yeah.
100%.
And talk a little bit about your live shows here and your presence. You're really big on like crowd interactive stuff, and you really push the crowd to be a part of the metal journey with you. How important is that participation to you?
It means the world to me. Honestly, like I told you guys, I mean, definitely it's a show because the crowd is a part of it. If the people are not a part of it, then what's the point? They're just looking at you. You want them to. We are all important. We're all having fun together. If you guys, the energy is not flowing back and forth like ping pong, then there's the energy just doesn't flow. So we want to have everybody having fun, and being a part of it. It's so important for all of us, and I love entertaining people personally. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's so fun. And like I said, it's all about making people happy, honestly.
Yeah. What show date has been the best for like crowd participation for you so far?
I would say this last one was actually pretty interesting. Like I said, we were coming into a very interesting crowd of, you know, they like more heavier metal, right? Like I'm talking about more tech death and slam and into that type of crowd. But they responded very positive. Like we had fun together, even though we weren't, the same level as Blood Tide or Hacksaw. They're brutal and absolutely incredible. And we came and we just have fun together. We got everybody going to having fun together. You know what I mean? So it was just a very positive environment, and we had fun. People were having fun. We're listening to the music. We're interacting. So it was good. And it's all about the crowd, man. It really is. Always.
Yeah. We'll talk about the scene a little more, specifically about the state of clubs and attendance at shows. We've had a lot of discussions with other bands about clubs are struggling to keep their doors open due to low attendance and declining numbers of people drinking at the bar because there's a
Hmm.
lot of younger people moving into the scene.
Hmm.
Do you see this like around the Miami area as well?
Well, that's the thing. We just got, actually, I mean, it's kind of like a reverse thing with us. We got back Churchill's and we got back Las Rosas. So it's funny that you mentioned that.
No.
You know what I mean? Like Piper's Club, but I mean, we're losing Gramps now, for example. So it's funny that you mentioned that. It's kind of like, it's good for us right now in a way. We're slowly getting more shows together and the attendance is good. It's, and at the end of the day, that's why, for example, it goes tied down to what I was talking about, that if it's metal, just let them be in the bill and it'll sort of work out. Because I feel like we all should support each other, man. I feel like metal should be an entire family, no matter what subgenre or whatever. I think that barrier should be broken at some point and support each other as much as we can, honestly.
Yeah. So when I was growing up, it wasn't so a lot of the music I listened to, especially the hardcore music, wouldn't have drinkers. So I know a lot of the clubs stay open because they, get bar money. Besides that, they'd close their doors. And Eli and I have seen that here just in a few years with the Brass Mug struggling and the Orpheum. The bar crowd doesn't show up when you have a younger crowd showing up.
Hmm.
So when I was younger, all the hardcore bands were at VFW halls or YMCA's, and I know that you just played a VFW hall. How important are those type of music venues or places to play moving forward?
I think they're essential, man. I mean, any sort of venue that we can play and have the opportunity to play heavy metal and continue, the tradition of Florida metal in general. It's a blessing, no matter where it is, no matter what position we are. So it's really cool to have, especially not only that, being all age also, so kids can really develop a love for metal early on.
Yeah,
So I think that we needed more all age because of that, to get the metal, everybody in, to listen to all these bands that are fantastic. So it's
yeah,
it's it's a good opportunity to keep growing the genre because
yeah. But for the Tampa area, we've been blessed because
yeah,
the Orpheum and the Brass Mug, all their shows are all ages. But right up the road in Orlando and in Jacksonville, they're 18 and over. So that
yeah.
automatically pushes Eli out. And that's because they want that drinking crowd. They want to have that money coming in. But, we see shows at Tampa Skate Park and just some open air shows and in the VFW where I think that's how the metal scene can bring in those kids or elevating those shows. And it's not sometimes those shows from what I see and what I remember, you bring in a bigger crowd than you would playing a metal night at Brass Mug on a Wednesday.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, and it's at the end of the day is to inspire people. It's that's why you want to get metal going, man. We got to keep the genre going. Like we can't let it
Yeah,
die.
yeah, it's that next generation
You
thing.
can't let it die.
That's
That's
what.
the main thing.
It's what Eli and I talked about when we started this podcast about 2 years ago. Was just like, well, the baton has to be handed off some way. So let's try to figure out how to get younger people. And we talked to a lot of promoters around here. It's like, what's the, how do you get younger kids seeing these shows? And because Tampa area is a very old death metal city,
Yeah.
and the average person is like my age going to see these shows, and it's like, it's not going to survive much longer if that's all you have going to see it. Even some of the festivals that happen around here, it's like, oof, I look around and it's like everybody's my age, and that's cool and everything, but where's the next thing coming from? What does it look like in 10 years?
Well, that's the beauty of it, man. It's a mystery at this point, right? And but all you can do is try to, keep playing good music. And at the end of the day is about making good music, man. That's all that matters at the end of
Yeah.
the day. If you're playing good music, people are going to revolve around it somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. So not only you in a band in the scene, but you're also starting a radio show called Boots in the Pit, and that's
Yes.
supporting the scene. So tell me a little bit about that. I think it's on Metal Messiah Radio. So that's like an umbrella of other shows, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yes. So it's essentially kind of like a website, like a metal website radio, and you click on the link, you automatically go live. And there's DJs from all around the world, from Ireland, from all sorts of other countries, across this country also, and it's a very cool opportunity to definitely, play some metal and keep it alive, and have a voice in it somehow, because I'm telling you, man, I'm definitely so passionate about this, and it's very important for me. It really is, and it's going to be awesome connecting with everybody at a different level also, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like what you guys are doing right now, it's incredible, and it's amazing to see what you guys are doing, honestly. So I to kind of like replicate and be inspired by metalheads like yourselves, and I mean it means a lot to me, so it's really cool doing
Well,
stuff.
if you could tell all those bands that snubbed us that were cool, I'd appreciate that.
Hey,
It's
man.
actually, sometimes it's hard for us to get even like, smaller bands to come on. It's really weird. It's like getting them to self promote themselves is a struggle sometimes.
Come on, man. I mean, at the end of the day, it's
It's like I tell them, we're looking for a half hour of your time to tell whoever you can about your band. I mean, if it helps a little, if it helps a lot, but
yeah, dude,
dude, it's a
exactly.
half hour. It doesn't cost you anything.
Listen, I mean, don't even matter. It doesn't matter what they think. Honestly, it's their loss. In my opinion, it's their loss. You guys are doing, you know, so much more than so many people could do. You know what I'm saying? So it's their loss. So, it's a pleasure to be here, man. Honestly, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here.
Yeah,
What's
sure.
the best show you've seen so far this year?
Damn. Okay. That's tough. I'm gonna go with the one I went to, the obituary one. That little tour
Mm,
with Intoxicated was
mhm.
awesome, man. I had a lot of fun. I really had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
It was
that show is
it was
it's always great
incredible.
when they do the year-end stuff like that.
No, and dude, I was honestly Intoxicated. I love that band. I personally think they are so damn talented, and it just
Yeah,
has that old school death metal feel. And it's just so wonderful. It really is, And I'm listening to them. I'm there watching them play, and they're so tight. You know,
yeah,
it's like the perfect opening band for Obituary. It really is, dude.
absolutely, yeah.
Such a cool continuation, and Castrator was fantastic as well. You know what I'm saying?
Castrator, great. Podcast favorite. We
Yeah.
had them on the podcast, and they were fantastic people.
Yeah, no, they are, man, and they're so damn talented, and I loved,
Yeah,
I hadn't seen them in a long time, so it was pretty cool to see them again, and they sounded amazing. Everybody did sound. It was awesome
yeah,
show, and then
yeah.
Obituary, dude. I mean, it's
Ageless, right? Like they sounded. We saw them a couple of years ago at the Brass Mug, and it's like, okay, they're gonna age. You expect that, but this time they sounded like young.
they sounded absolutely like crushing. It was incredible. They were so
Yeah,
tight, man. They were so tight, and I felt that music, because the thing is, man, it's at that point, this type of music is kind of like legendary music. Let's put it this way, that band name is in a damn plaque. You know what I'm saying? The words
Yeah.
obituary are in like an official government plaque. So
Yeah.
imagine how important that band really is. You know what I mean? So you really feel the history when they're playing in front of you. You feel the power of it. It's really cool, and so that's why I love that show. I really connected with that.
Nice.
Yeah. What was the best new music you've heard so far this year?
Wow. Okay, so a lot of people are actually talking about it. I'm gonna have to agree. I really like that new Sacrifice album. I think it was really
Mm,
good. I really, really enjoyed it. A lot of people are saying it's like album of the year. I'm like, listen, I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna have to like really say that
nice.
for me it was the top of this year. I really love that album. And I also my brother Alvar, he released his LP this year as well. And it was incredible, man. He Ejecutador, have you heard of them before?
I have not. No.
I'll show them to you guys. They're fantastic. Their album was fantastic, and I really enjoyed it as well. And shout out to all my brothers. I not only because they're my friends, I believe that the album was fantastic. And then from the bigger bands, man, I kind of like that Testament stuff. It was pretty good. A couple of the songs, yeah,
Yeah.
they're pretty good.
Yeah, we're talking about that. It's a good album. Not sure I would have recognized Chuck Billy's voice in some of the songs unless I
He
knew it
sounds
was the
different.
Testament album. Yeah.
Yeah, he
So I
sounds so
don't know how
different.
much is studio magic and how much is just him like changing his vocal style so he can keep going.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you realize, like, as these guys get older, they kind of like do change their
Yeah.
vocals. Like, speaking of, Tardy of John, his vocals now they have evolved compared to him in
Absolutely.
'94, compared to him
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
'89, and I think that this evolution of his vocals, I think they're incredible. And I feel like the
Yeah.
same
Me too.
with Chuck Billy. I feel like maybe it is a little bit enhanced. Yes, it's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
obvious. They're at that level, yeah, and it's
Once you approach that 60 or surpass that 60, you need some help.
but Chuck Billy, man, that guy, he got that giant freaking,
The beer
thorax.
barrel chest.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it just like resonates like, you know,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah. And for them to keep putting out good music is
It
incredible.
is.
Yeah. Yeah. And we do a bit of the podcast before this where Eli and I just talk about the best ofs, and I was expecting you to say maybe Corner was up there on the
Oh
top of their new album.
yes. Oh yeah, the
A lot of
corner.
people really like
I
that one.
love, no, definitely the corner one. I definitely on top there. No, it somehow got
Awesome. So,
heavier. I don't know how they managed
yeah.
that. They got heavier.
Yeah. They got better. It's really bizarre.
No, it's incredible. Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like a lot of these OG bands, like they do indeed get better. You can feel their technicality just getting better from the beginning. Sometimes maybe the songwriting is not as iconic, but
Mhm.
their technical level has evolved, and you hear it in all these bands, all of them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's really cool to see that that these OG guys are still so dedicated to it.
Yeah, do you think it's the equipment has advanced as well? Because I mean, when Testament first came out, they stepped on stage and Alex Skolnick was playing his guitar with one or two
Hmm.
pedals and putting it through,
Yeah.
a raw amp.
Mm, I mean, definitely the sound, but the thing is, at the end of the day, the difference is definitely just the recording quality is just completely different too. For example, that's
Yeah,
why I kind of did Chronophobia sounding kind of like very raw and very 80s. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted it
yeah,
raw, and I feel like it's just refined, because they have the budget now. They got the studio, they got everything. So definitely, I think that does but it helps them become better. When you have the
yeah,
tools available, why not use them? That's why I
yeah,
see it. Whatever tools that I have available to make myself better, you know, if I'll work with it. You know,
Yeah.
just work smart.
Yeah. Just a message out to all the drummers who use the fake double pedal thing. Don't do that. We know your
Oh,
feet aren't that fast.
oh, oh. Well, you know, it's funny in the EP. So and now I'm gonna record that with Lucas with Derek Roddy. I want to have Lucas because he didn't record the drums on EP.
Mm,
I want Lucas to record it. You know, everything. That kid is fantastic. You know, and he's natural, the natural heavy metal drummer. You know, speaking of that, you know, not using that fake stuff. You know.
yeah. Yeah. Eva and I talk about that a lot. It's like we want drums to sound like drums. I want to hear cymbals. I want to hear snares. I want to hear toms. I want to hear a real double bass. You know,
Yeah, I can tell your feet can't go 400 BPM. That's not like a thing you can do. This sounds weird also. Like it never sounds normal.
yeah.
You can tell it's not. But you know, be
Yeah.
real
No.
drummers, guys. Play your instrument.
Come on, they get it. They get it.
And most of them can get up to like close to those speeds. So it's like,
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's almost inhumane. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not inhumane, that's the wrong word. Like almost like
Unhuman?
superhuman, right?
Yeah,
I know
superhuman. Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah,
Like,
but if I want to listen to that, I'll listen to AI music, which we don't.
oh
Just
god.
to put
Which
that
we
out there, we don't listen.
Yeah, gotta make that very
Exclamation
clear.
point, like huge exclamation point. Yeah, no.
So 2026 is here. What's in store for the band in 2026? And I saw you're
Oof.
playing the Bay Area Hard Rock Fest in
Yes.
March. That's the only thing we know so far. It's coming up for the band, so we'll be promoting that as it gets closer.
Yes, I'm excited for that. I don't know if I can promote it yet, but at the end of March, I'm doing something with this band Ejecutador that I spoke to you about. So we're gonna do something at down here in Miami. I can't give the details 100% just yet, but we're working on a show there, which is Propaganda. I don't know if you know heard of it at Lake Worth.
No. So I grew up in New England, so I mean,
Oh,
we've been down
okay,
here a long time, but I've been only going to shows in Florida for a few years with Eli.
okay.
Yeah, so and we haven't made it down south yet to see a show.
Yeah. Lake
We're
Worth
still
is
up
kind
around
of like
Tampa.
around West Palm Beach, kind of like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so other than that, you know, the main thing that we're gonna work on is essentially our full length. We want to record
Nice.
we want to get it done. You know, I think that we want to get CDs out. We got a CD printed, have an actual physical CD. You know, the EP is essentially kind of like a demo in reality. You know, we just want to come out and just record the proper. You know, we want to go work with a good producer, you know, work with get something good quality stuff going on there, you know, because I
Nice.
did everything on that demo. You know, it was me in my computer and I mixed it as best as I could, you know, and you know there's some things that could be better, you know, but
There's always things that could be better,
it's a
but
demo, you know.
we like it. Yeah, it's raw. It's good. We like it.
Thank you
We dig
I
it.
guys.
We
think it,
jam on it. Yeah.
Thank you
yeah.
guys. That means a lot.
Very cool interview. Thank you for coming on. But before we can let you go, how can listeners support the band further?
Guys, I mean, I know it sounds very cliche at this point in 2025, well, 2026, but maybe you know, follow us on on Instagram, your Facebook, you know, Dark Ritual Official, you know, and the best part is, if you like the music, please show it to your best friend, show it to your brother, show it to your sister, show it to your grandmother, show it to your dog, show it to your hamster, even if you can, you know, and help us grow, you know. And this is a really interesting little family that we have for Dark Ritual, and it has to grow, man. And the entire scene has to grow. We have to all support each other like that, not just us. Please support all the other bands on social media as well.
Awesome. Well said. And
Yeah.
we'll have all the links to your stuff in the show notes.
Thank you, guys.
So who's ever listened to this, just go to the show notes. It's been fantastic, as Eli said. Stefano, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it, and we are big fans of the band.
Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure again, and hopefully we can talk soon again. Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.